Good afternoon. So I was also ex-Mormon, and I can definitely relate to this. I spent actually a long time after leaving the church trying to be the perfect ex-Mormon so that like members wouldn't think I was toxic or that I was a bad person for leaving. And I did eventually just have to be like, well, fuck what they think, because guess what, like in my life, people just like never really got over that. It didn't matter how good I was of an ex-Mormon, people were still like, oh, you're a bad person for leaving. So can really relate to that. But I think at the end of the day, when it comes to like when people are talking about red flags, just like if somebody thinks you're a red flag, then you're not for them, and that's okay. When I think people have red flags and stuff, I don't necessarily write them off. I'm just like, I'm going to pay attention because I have been burned by this in the past, right? So there's a lot of things when it comes to organizations or religions. When I hear them, I'm like, oh, that's a red flag because it reminds me of Mormonism. And it doesn't mean that organization is necessarily bad, but it piques my attention and I'm going to pay a lot of attention to see what's going on, right? But losing your entire community because you leave a cult like Mormonism, or losing maybe an entire friend group because of a bad situation that happened, is very different than what was described in that video. It's not at all the same situation. I will say though, something I had to learn upon leaving Mormonism, I had to learn about trauma dumping, and I had to learn that it was not a kind thing for me to do. I remember just like needing to vent, and then sometimes these poor people I just barely met, I'd be like throwing up all of my trauma from having left the church on them, those poor souls. And had they taken that as a red flag and not really wanted to talk to me afterwards, I would have accepted that. Most people don't though. Most people are fascinated by Mormonism because they find it very odd. And it is odd, as you probably know. I tried to be super clear in that video that my red flag was specifically people that just meet you and then they're constantly talking about all of like how everybody else is the problem in their lives and everybody else is causing them all these problems all the time. It's one thing like if you have a person in your life, like maybe a mother-in-law or something that is just constantly, you know, or a boss, or like even a work situation. But if you, not you, but like the person I was referring to in the original video, who is like unable to maintain any relationships without having them turn into drama whatsoever in their life, all relationships turn into drama. It's a lot. It's a lot for somebody to have to deal with. And for me, I have been traumatized enough with that type of experience. And so when I hear somebody say that, I'm just like, I'm going to keep my distance till I can find out a little bit more about this situation, because I have seen situations like this turn very poorly before.